Hello, welcome everyone. My phone is going off as usual. Uh, Thank you all for being here today. Uh, anyway, thank you for being here. It's just been a busy day, and I'm showing up, as I state that I would show up. And so today is Tuesday. Sorry about that, guys. It's just a lot going on, and I was multitasking a little bit before I got on. Um, Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing the videos. And the messages are getting to other people, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, people. That is a good thing. I hope everyone is doing well, and that these messages are helping you, because as I do this, it helps me as well, guys. It really does, you know. And one of the vows that I made to God was to pay it forward and help other people just like God is helping me. And none of this has been easy, but it's important that other people know that they don't have to be in despair and that they can be uplifted. And this is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not, anything fake. Everything here that I talk about is authentic. And I talk from my own experiences because I'm not a therapist. I don't have certification as a therapist or social work or any um, thing in that category, any certifications in that category whatsoever. I'm someone, however, who's gone through a lot, people, a lot. And what I do on this channel, I share my experiences about the things I've gone through and how I've gotten through it. Because without God, none of this was possible for me because I didn't have a support system. So I'm hoping that you guys share this and that because sometimes people don't communicate what they're going through, their pain, their grief, or their situations. They just silently keep the pain within. And they need to know that they can show up privately and watch these videos and get encouraged by them, uplifted, and perhaps some of the things that I'm talking about, and I use creative things to talk about what I've gone through. I use examples, metaphors, etc., to help people because the information that I'm sharing about myself here that I've gone through, perhaps someone would hear this and it will resonate with their own situation, and they can take the information and apply it within their own life to help them get through the situations and challenges that they are currently going through. When we have walked in the shoes of other people and we've gone through certain trials and challenges and situations and we have come through them victoriously, then we can help other people. Because none of this is easy. This journey called life with all these problems and situations that occur today. And sometimes people don't have the support system. Some people can get through these things because they have a lot of the support system that they need to get through it. And that helps a lot. But some of us don't have that, and that's where I had to really learn to lean on God, to ask God to help me. And to really know that if God is for me, then who can be against me? I learned that lesson. Life is about lessons, and like I always say in different videos that if we don't learn the lessons, we're going to ride that wheel again. The lesson will come back around a different shape, form, and situation, maybe even different people, but the same, the same lesson, and it's important to learn it so we don't ride that wheel again and again. So with that being said, I want to talk about today is April 2nd. And this is going to be a very difficult month for me because April 15th of 2020, my mom passed away. Complications with COVID. She already had compromised health situations going on. And the COVID just really, basically helped to take her out of here. And it's just been horrific because we are coming up on April 15th, and that's going to be in another week or so. And it's hard. It's still hard. I was on a site last night, with people who are grieving the loss of parents, children, spouse, etc. And I was just browsing through the comment section, and I was reading the comments, and some people feel so much despair that they can't get through this. We can get through it. You never get over it. You never get over the loss, because no matter what you do in life, what you see, where you go, you hear something, and it reminds you of that passed over loved one. But I promise you, you can get through it, because if I can get through it with no support system, just relying on God and continuing to move forward, whether I felt like it or not, I kept taking steps. I promise you, as you do that, God will help you, you know and that's what I have to do. And I have my up days where I feel really good, and I have those days where it's just hard to get out of bed. I still go through that, even though it's 4 years later. And I'm just thinking about April 15th, because reflecting on that day, and just every day of my life that I want to talk to my mother. I think about that laughter that she had, the storytelling ability. Her, ever since I can remember as a child, my mother loved to look good, dress up, and she always taught me to always look like a lady. In the house, you can look any kind of way you want, but when you go out in public, always carry myself like a lady, present myself like a woman, and look like a woman. And all those things. And we used to get our hair done together, stuff like that. She was very into the way she looked in public when she go out, and etc. And she taught me certain things through storytelling, laughter, and little things that I used to do with her, and it doesn't exist anymore. And as I got older and became an adult, just those telephone conversations with her, I was having a lot of troubles um, with my son, and talking to my mother about it. And and as I talked to her about it, as she got older, she mellowed out and told me certain things, and just not only about that, but just about things I was going through. And she was really able to talk to me, and I don't have that anymore, and it just hurts a lot. Not only does it hurt, but it's a void. It's like an empty void that's there when you lose a parent. And people, my condolences, and those who lost spouse and children, it even hurts even more. um the only thing I can tell you, for me, how I get through it is music, a lot of music, a playlist, and just doing something different. Because every day, we get up, we go to work, we do the same thing, and it can get monotonous. And then I try to find ways to do things differently. Get out into nature, do things, go for a ride, listen to something, do something different, to keep me from just succumbing to grief. And that's important. And just connect with a therapist, a grief therapist, and grief support groups, because you're going to hear stories and situations of other people who've gone through grief, like what you may be dealing with. And they may have some stories that they may tell you of what they went through and how they got through it. It's so important that we lift each other up, because it's important. That's how we grow and evolve, and so forth. So with that being said, and I'm going to keep talking about that till we get up to April 15th. This is very difficult. I always want the memory of my mother to stay alive, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. With that being said, now the topic of discussion for today is never give anyone your power. We're going to talk about this because I had to learn this, and I'm still learning it, people. When I started to really get serious about this journey on healing my pain and trauma and grief of things that took place in my life, and things that was done to me, when I got serious about this, and it was shortly after all these deaths, and losing my dog, and I started to do the work with therapy. I started making some vows to God, because I asked God, and I said, if you help me through this, I made specific vows. One, I'm gonna not talk about all of them, but one of the vows I made was to pay it forward to help someone. At that time, I didn't know how I was going to do that. I never thought I would be on a platform talking about grief, but here I am because I made a vow to God that I would pay back with something related to what I was going through so that I can help other people. And here I am, and I don't play with God. And it doesn't matter to me who don't like it and that kind of stuff. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on just not just building me up, but talking to other people, because some people out there don't have anyone. They don't have a support system, and they're going through some real dark times, and they need to be uplifted and know that they don't have to stay in a place of despair and hopelessness. We live in a world today where people love to see people down and out, and they want to make certain people a negative stereotype. And I refuse to fall into that category. And I refuse to allow anyone to put me in that category, because I'm just going to block, cut off, and delete. And as I am so close to God and I stay in prayer and I try to uplift others, I'm not perfect. None of us are. But, I made certain vows, and I intend to keep those vows because like I said, I don't play with God. And one of the vows is to pay it forward like I'm doing on this channel, and another vow was to take care of myself. And that's what I'm doing, take care of my physical and mental healing. And also, to just make sure that I'm taking care of me to the best of my ability, and to not give up, to keep moving. And as I make a step, even a half a step, God has been there, and he has been showing me, there's things that happen in my life, miracles so far, where there's irrefutable proof that God is working in my life. Because I'm not out there setting people up for failure, doing the most and worst. I'm really focused on me and on this channel and helping other people, because it's so important. Because we live in a world today where people don't care. I got mine. You get yours any way you can get it. In the morning on a route that I take when I'm going to work, I see a lot of, at first, I saw like homeless people camping out at this wooded area. And it was one or two. Now there's about 10 tents out there where people are really living out there. And it's very sad, that this is what it's come to in the world we live in today. Um, so, it's just, people need to be uplifted. People need to know that God will work in your life if you reach out to him, you seek him out, and you're willing to do the work. None of this work is easy. It's hard. I've done a lot of work, and a lot of looking at myself, reaching deep within, looking at the pain, addressing it, which is important, and then taking a step forward to improve my life, to do better. And this is what my mom would want me to do as well. She would never, ever want me to stay in a place of hopelessness, despair, and depression. And some people who don't want to grow and evolve and heal, they want to stay there. That's their option. Everybody has a choice in this world, However, do not stop other people who want to grow, who want to get better, who want to evolve. It's, don't play God in other people's life. And I want to talk about that a little bit here. Universal law is what you put out into the universe is what you're going to get back. Like, for example, the IRS, let's say you owe them $2,000, right? They want their money in 30 days and you work out some situation, right? And let's say you put that on a back, you're able to put that on a back burner for 2 years. Now, when 2 years later, you're ready to pay this, right? It's going to be a whole lot of interest to that $2,000. It may be $3,000 now, maybe even 4, because the interest builds up, 2 years worth. So now that $2,000 becomes $4,000, because interest is built up. That's the way it happens with universal law. Now, if you're out there doing things to other people who are not bothering you, and that person is in a place of healing and in prayer with God, especially if they made vows to God and they are working toward those vows, they are keeping those vows, and they are in prayer with God a lot, God is going to come through. And let me explain it to you like this. If you're out there manifesting negativity against someone who's in their lane, building themselves up, and they're not bothering you, they have never done anything to you, but you don't like them because, oh, she thinks she cute, she thinks she all that, I'm gonna knock her down, I'm gonna make sure she's crawling around like a dog, I'm gonna make sure this, all negative for somebody who's healing and who have lost a lot and who's grieving, and they're putting the pieces of their life back together, not by themselves, but with the help of God. And you're in a background trying to break them down just because. What do you think God is going to do? You think He's going to sit back and let you break down somebody who He put in a situation to help other people, and that person is relying on Him? They're not codependent on another individual. You think He's really going to sit back and watch you do this? And the reason I'm speaking like this, because there are some people out there, just because they don't like how somebody look, oh, they're to this or to that. I'm going to make you a negative stereotype. I'm going to make sure you down to the ground, you don't have nothing. They are too invested in doing evil to somebody else just because they don't like how they look, how they walk, how they speak, how they dress. You don't get to play God in anybody else's life. You don't. There are universal laws. What you manifest, and you're busy not investing in your own self and building your own self up, but you're investing in doing negativity to somebody else. What you put out there in the universe law is that's what's coming back to you. It will not touch that person of God, that person who's sitting there lifting themselves up, healing and helping other people to heal and giving people advice on how they healed and what they went through to help somebody else build themselves up. God is not going to allow that, and this is what some people are doing. They don't want to heal, they want to be some bully. They want to dictate somebody's life. They want to take your power. And this is why the name of this video is never give anyone your power. You have the control of your own life. Don't give that power and hand it over to somebody else so that they can navigate your life, when you should be navigating your own life and not giving people the power to do that. They're not God. They're an individual just like you are. And nobody has the right to tell somebody that they can't pray, that they can't be close to God, that they can't do this and do that. As long as that individual or group of individuals are not hurting anyone and they're not setting anyone up for failure, but they're really sincerely helping themselves as well as others, nobody has a right to dictate to their life and tell them what they can and cannot do and try to instill fear into them for lifting other people up and helping themselves so that they can be the best version of themselves. No one has the right to play God in your life. And this is why it's important that you keep your power. You never hand over your power to anyone else. Never allow anyone to instill fear in you just because they don't like the new version of who you are. In my case, the people who feel like this, they were in my life for a while. I was very subservient, very giving, very nurturing, but they took advantage of that while they had it. And so I established boundaries. As I started to do therapy and talk with my therapist about certain things that was occurring with these situations, with these folks, I established boundaries. They kept crossing those boundaries more than once, twice, over and over and over again. So now the door is shut and padlocked, cut off, block, and delete. There's not going to be any fighting and drama and all that craziness. That's part of the toxicity that I've healed. I've done a whole lot of work, and God is not allowing anybody from the past to come back and shut down all the work I've done on myself just because they don't like it and they don't like the new version of me and they want to knock me down to the old version of the Lisa I once was, broken, hurt, in a corner, balled up in a corner. No, God is not allowing that. And I'm telling you the universal laws. If I was bothering somebody and out there setting them up for failure, oh yeah, God would be, letting all these things happen. But I'm not doing that. I have a right to build myself up so that I can be the best version of myself and be the best that I can. And we all are supposed to love ourselves, not just me loving on me. Everybody is supposed to love yourself. Because if you don't love you and you don't think you're worth it, what are you going to give to somebody else? You don't have nothing to give to anybody else if you can't love you. How you expect somebody else to love you? That's why it's important to heal these hurts and pains. If you feel brokenness inside, this is what therapy is for. And then, as I made a description yesterday about the life is like pieces of a puzzle, a box of pieces of puzzles. You don't know where to begin. I mean, you don't know how it's gonna what the outcome is going to be, but you start making steps. And one of the steps is therapy. Going to a therapist first, a grief therapist, helping yourself, because that's the right direction. And then everything else starts to fall into place as you start doing the work. Like when you put that puzzle together, you start working on that puzzle. You don't know what the picture is going to be in the background until you start putting the pieces together. And then you see what that picture is, you know? And it's important to stay positive as well. We all have days where things go wrong and we don't feel well. You don't give up. You're investing in yourself, because if you're not okay, you can't take care of yourself or the things around you. It's important to take care of you. And also, it's important to take time out of your schedule for me time. Even if it's an hour a day, take that time for you, and do the things that uplift your spirit, like music, and if you can afford to buy that nice flowers, to, little things that uplift you and make you be the best of yourself, and I watch a lot of positive videos, music, even a little bit of music just before I came on here. And take care of your health, like I do things different. Like for me, the fried chicken and all this other stuff that, I bake chicken now, and I eat more vegetables, things that help me. Sometimes I, have ice cream or donut, but I don't make a habit of it. And it's been a hard battle for me because I'm still trying to lose the extra weight, but I'm making the steps toward it, working out, little by little. Don't force it, people. Just let yourself naturally work. It's just like when you get up to go to work every day. In the beginning, when you get that job, it's hard to get up at a certain time and do the same thing. But after a while, it just becomes second nature. And that's how it is with healing. At first, it's hard. It's hard as hell, because it's something new, it's different, and it's important. But as you continue to make forth the effort and put forth the steps, God is going to help you. For me, in the case with God, I made vows, and I take those vows seriously. He helped me. He's showing me, because I don't have that support system, and I had to let go a lot. The people who were there, who I could depend on, are no longer here. Like I said, the matriarchs of the family, they all passed away, and certain friends I had passed away who were truly my friends, and those who were left that were there, they were there for not good reasons. And as I saw that, I had to make changes for me, and because somebody don't like that change, so they're going to become a bully. You're not going to become a bully in my life, because I'm just going to go and meditate and go into prayer with God. And as I do so, God does the rest. Now, if I was out there bullying other people and doing all those other things, then God wouldn't be there for me. But like I said, the universal laws, if you're out there manifesting BS for somebody else's life and negativity, that's what's going to come to those who are doing that. Because just because you don't like somebody, the best thing to do is to stay away from that person, especially when that person is uplifting other people and they haven't done anything to you, and you're out there spreading lies and saying things. And what I can tell people about gossip is most of the time people are telling you their own story when they gossip with vicious lies against somebody else. They're telling you how they are, but they're using that other person as a metaphor when it's really them on, doing these things. So one thing that I do when I hear something, I really just ignore it and just, but if it's someone in my life and they're saying this, I investigate to see if these things are true, instead of getting on a bandwagon of hate, to hate on somebody just because when you do that, it brings more negativity and problems to your life. We should be focused on our life, lifting up, building up, because we're in a world today, like I said, people come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And if we're not learning the lessons, they're going to repeat. We're going to repeat them. And I promise you, when those lessons come back around the next time, they're going to be worse. It's going to be the same lesson, but it's going to be worse than ever because you're not learning it. So I try to learn them as quickly as possible. And sometimes that means just, seeing people for what they are, seeing behind the mask, seeing people, you think they got your back and they really love you and care for you. In my case, I learned they didn't. There was a lot of jealousy, envy, and backstabbing. And in order for me to grow and evolve and continue to grow and heal, I had to remove all that stuff from my life. And it wasn't easy. And it took time for me to do that because, I really cared for these people in my life and thought they cared to me. Some of these people are like family. But as I started to see what they were doing behind the scenes and had irrefutable proof of it, I had to let it go. And it wasn't easy because that's even more pain added on the pain that I'm trying to heal. And then when you're dealing with grief of losses of people in your life who really meant something to you, then you got to heal that as well. So I keep my vibrations high and I keep the toxicity low. And it's important when you're trying to heal to keep that toxicity as low as it can get, because it's just going to add more pain to the grief and the pain that you're already trying to heal. And that's how I live my life, and I don't care who don't like it. It's not important to me, because I'm not that subservient person and I'm not codependent on other people. I look to God. God is my source. And when I talk about God, people, I'm not religious. I go to church sometimes, not as often as I used to, but I don't have to be at a church every day, every week, and every certain time just to have a relationship with God. I truly have that relationship with God, and I'm grateful for that, because it's not to me to be at a church all the time, but to build up my relationship I have with him and to keep the vows that I made to him, which is important, you know, and to help other people, because like I said, there's people out there, they don't know where to turn, where to go, and they're hurting real deep within their soul, but some may be too embarrassed to talk to others or may not trust them enough to talk to them, you know. And this is why I always talk about whatever state you are living in, or if you're living in another country, whatever it is, Google is a source where you can go to and find a therapist and connect with that therapist, and start from there. And then everything else, as you continue to do the work, will fall into place. I promise you that. It's not going to be easy, but it's well worth it, because it's better to be at peace than to be in pieces, and as you're at peace, you're unbothered by the BS from other people that you cut off, because some people are going to be mad. I'm going to put it in this way. People were mad when they got cut off, but they had chances to make it right with me. They had so much time to make it right. And then when they kept crossing the boundaries that I set, they showed me who they were, because, they wasn't willing to work with me, but work against me. And I had to cut off, block, and delete. And it was for my growth, so that I can grow, evolve, and be the best version of me. And I can be on here helping others, We all going to have days with challenges and situations, but we have to keep going. This thing called life isn't easy, but it can get easier as we do the work and address the situations in our life so that we can move forward. I'm here learning, and I have learned to turn pain into power, power into a purpose, purpose to pay it forward to help other people. And then those people, as they get help and grow and heal, they can help others as well. That's the message today. Please, people, reach out and not only subscribe to the channel, but please share these videos with other people and tell them to share as well, because this is a no judgment zone here. We're here to uplift and help people, not to judge them. Thank you. That's the message today. Thank you for being here. And you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will be back tomorrow with a new message. Stay encouraged and stay uplifted. This is Lisa, always shedding encouragement and light for you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.